You carry something that has been draining your strength, and today I declare with authority, this problem that seemed without a way out will have an outcome by my hand. You tried to solve it alone. You sought help from people. You tried to control every detail, but that only wore you down. Now I come to you and I say, rest, because I am the God who works in the impossible. This is not a distant comfort, but an immediate promise. I'm moving the invisible pieces, opening doors you could not open, and undoing the knots that imprisoned your heart. I know how you have fought against the exhaustion of waking up with a racing mind, worried about tomorrow, insecure about the bills, afraid of losing what you love. I saw when you tried to smile to hide the pain, when you cried in silence so as not to worry anyone. I was there in every sigh and in every night when you could not sleep. Nothing passed unnoticed before me. I not only saw, but I remained by your side, sustaining your spirit when your body could no longer endure. You need to hear this now. There is no failure, no debt, no sickness, and no wound so deep that I cannot restore. I am the one who turns scarcity into abundance, tears into testimony, losses into new beginnings. Your story will not be defined by failures, but by my work. Even what seemed lost will be redeemed before your eyes. What you believed had ended will be rebuilt with even more beauty and purpose, because I am the specialist in resurrecting dreams. Do not think that wasted time was forgotten. I redeem every second. The years of shame and struggle are no longer a sentence against you. They are seeds that will bloom into double honor. I return the peace that was stolen. I restore the hope that seemed extinguished, and I rekindle the joy that was suffocated by pressures. Today is the day when I exchange the burden for rest, fear for trust, and doubt for the certainty of my care. I call you to place in my hands what has been suffocating you. Do not hold it any longer. Surrender to me the fears that paralyze you, the thoughts that accuse you, and the pains that insist on returning. Your surrender opens the way for my miracle. If you insist on holding it, you will continue to be crushed. But if you let go, I will sustain you with the strength that never runs out. A step of faith can change your entire story, and today I ask you, trust. Do not look only at what is lacking, because I multiply the little. Do not cling to the doors that have closed, because I prepare greater paths. Your obedience, even if small, is the key to unlock what I have reserved. Declare life where there is only silence. Speak hope where there was only fear, and I will confirm with visible signs at each step of faith. I am the God who has never failed, and I will not fail you either. I have already sent angels to assist you. I have already released resources you did not imagine. I have already moved hearts that were closed. Nothing you have lived through was able to stop me from fulfilling what I promised. There are no impossibilities for me. The sickness that seemed to advance, I stop. The snare that kept you bound, I break. The fear that consumed your soul, I uproot from the root. You will no longer walk in insecurity, because my spirit will be your constant guide. Today is the beginning of a new season. Lift your head, because shame will no longer have dominion over you. Walk with confidence, because the future I have prepared is greater than the pain of the past. This is the day when I declare victory over you. Do not postpone your surrender, because I do not postpone my promise. I am with you, and where I am, there is no room for defeat. Receive now the certainty of my love, the guarantee of my provision, and the strength of my presence. This is the decisive moment. If you believe, you will see my glory manifest in your life. I saw you in the hours when the whole world seemed to be asleep, and your heart remained awake, surrounded by thoughts you could not silence. I was there, so close that I could hear even the sighs that never turned into words. Nothing you went through was hidden from me, and there was not a single moment when my gaze was not resting upon you. I am not a distant observer. I am the God who leans down to hear the faintest whisper of your soul. When you believed that no one cared, I was already wrapping you in the certainty of my care. When you felt that your pain was invisible, I was gathering every tear as one who treasures a precious jewel. I did not judge your weakness. I did not reject your stumbles. I did not turn away from you because of your failures. On the contrary, my heart was moved even more in compassion, because I know the frame with which you were formed, and I know the measure of your limitation. My love is not based on what you do right or wrong. It flows from who I am, and I am eternal in mercy. Even when you considered yourself unworthy, I remained steadfast, reaffirming within you the value I placed there from the beginning. I chose you not because you were prepared, but because I decided to love you without conditions. Every moment you felt empty, I was ready to fill your inner being with peace. Every time loneliness embraced you, I was right beside you, waiting for you to notice my presence. I never left, even when your emotions screamed the opposite. There is no distance that can keep me from reaching your heart. Neither the mistakes you made, nor the judgments you received, nor the walls you built around yourself were able to block my love. I tear down every barrier and enter even the most hidden places of your memory, those that still wound and shame you. There, where you think no one can reach, I reveal myself as the God who restores. I do not come to accuse you, I come to lift you up. I do not come to recall only your failures. I come to remind you of who you are in me. Your value does not decrease because you stumbled. It is not lost because you faltered. It is not erased because you fell. On the contrary, with every weakness revealed, I manifest even more the strength of my love. For where you are weak, I show myself strong. Where you think you are broken, I see the opportunity to show my perfection. My love is patient. It does not grow tired of waiting for your return. It is not fragile like human affection that changes according to circumstances. My love is firm, consistent, unchanging. It does not wear out with time. It does not shift with your moods. It does not pull away in the face of your errors. I continue loving you every day and every moment without exception. Even in your greatest doubts, I remain constant. I know that many times you compared my silence to absence, but listen, in the silence I was working in areas you could not see. While you wondered if I had forgotten you, I was already carrying you in my arms. While you thought you were alone, I was strengthening your spirit to endure the weight to come. Nothing in your story went unnoticed. Even the emptiness you felt was an opportunity for my presence to become even more evident. I do not move away when you cry out, nor do I become irritated by your questions. I delight in your honesty because I desire you to open your heart without reservations. I do not need rehearsed prayers. I need only your sincerity. I want to hear your voice as it is. I want you to trust me like a child who surrenders into the arms of the one they love. My love is shelter, it is embrace, it is sustenance. And when you rest in me, you find relief from what no human effort can alleviate. I did not come only to offer you words of comfort. I came to give you tangible proofs of my care. The times you were preserved without noticing, it was my hand that guarded you. The deliverances you did not see were angels sent to protect you. The breath of hope that rose when you thought of giving up was my spirit rekindling your flame. I am not a distant concept. I am a real presence that manifests in every detail. Do not underestimate how much you are loved. Human love may fail, but my love never fails. I do not abandon you when all others leave. I do not withdraw my hand when all others give up. I do not give up on you, even when you give up on yourself. My commitment to you is eternal, and nothing can separate you from what I have decided to pour out upon your life. When you say you do not deserve it, I answer, it is precisely there that grace becomes visible. So lift up your eyes. Do not carry the weight of loneliness any longer. Do not feed the fear of rejection anymore. Do not doubt my care again. I am with you right now, as real as the beating of your heart. I surround you with the warmth of my presence, and your soul no longer needs to feel orphaned. My love is the foundation that sustains your existence. It is the anchor that keeps you steady even in the storm. And today I declare over you, no lie that was told about who you are will have more power than the truth of my love. No label, no accusation, no wound can erase the mark I placed in you. You are mine, and that is final. Nothing that happens will ever be enough to undo this covenant. Walk in the certainty that you are loved, for that is the foundation of all the transformation I am bringing about in your life. You were not created to shrink before circumstances or to live as if you were invisible. Within you, there is a flame that I myself lit, and it cannot be extinguished by criticism, rejection, or the indifference of people. That flame is the sign that your birth was not an accident, but the result of my will. Every detail of your formation was carefully planned so that you could fulfill what only you can accomplish. No life is repeated, no calling is duplicated, because I am the God of originality, and in you I placed something singular that cannot be replaced. I know the moments when you felt too small to make a difference, and I know when you compared yourself to others, believing you would always be behind. But I did not make you for imitation. I created you as a masterpiece. Even the days of silence and apparent inactivity were prepared to shape your structure. What you call waiting, I call refining. While you think nothing is happening, I am perfecting your sensitivity, your vision, and your endurance. Do not interpret anonymity as rejection, because it was in that hiding place that I protected you from battles you could not yet face. In the secret place, I built within you foundations that are not shaken by praise and are not destroyed by criticism. I know you desire visibility, but more than that, you need deep roots to bear the weight of what is coming. I do not speed up processes, I complete them. And when the right moment arrives, no one can stop the advance of the one I myself send. I call you to come out of the shadows of fear that have paralyzed you for so long. The voices that said you would not make it no longer have power over you. I now break the chains of insecurity that made you believe you were not able. Within you there is courage that has not yet been activated. And today I awaken you to see the value that has always been present. Rise, because your voice needs to be heard, your light needs to be seen, and your life needs to shine to point to my grace. Your story has value, even the chapters you would like to forget. I am able to turn every pain into teaching and every loss into a resource to strengthen others. What you carry is not only for you, but to generate impact in many who walk around you. I place upon you the responsibility to be a channel, not merely a vessel. What I pour into you needs to overflow, because purpose is never individual, but always collective. Do not look at the size of your resources, because the calling I gave you does not depend on your natural ability, but on my power in you. The little you have will multiply when you put me first. The abilities you believe are insufficient will become perfect instruments in my hands. What seems fragile in you is exactly what I will use to confound human logic and reveal that I am the one who acts through the unlikely. Today, I give you a call to courage. Do not retreat in the face of opposition. Do not be silent in the face of injustice. Do not yield in the face of fear. Your life is a sign for this generation. And even if you think no one notices, I have raised people who will be touched by your faithfulness. Your silent obedience will open doors that no human influence could open. Your yes will carry eternal weight. I did not call you to live bound to mediocrity, but to break limits. Your gifts are not ornament. They are tools. The breath of my inspiration in you is not to be kept, but to illuminate paths. Do not hide any longer what I planted within you out of fear of making mistakes or being criticized. Error does not define your identity. It only teaches you to grow. Failure does not cancel the calling. It only reveals the dependence you need to have on me. Today, I declare that there will be no more paralysis. Fear loses its voice and faith gains ground. I remove from you the cloak of inferiority and clothe you with garments of authority. Where you thought you were invisible, I place you in a position of influence. Where you believed you were weak, I pour out boldness. Where you felt you were insufficient, I multiply what exists. Nothing in you has been wasted. Everything will be used to manifest my glory. I invite you to look to the future with renewed hope. Do not limit yourself by past experiences, because I make all things new. The door that seemed closed is not the end. It is only a redirection. I guide your steps so that no effort is in vain. What you have faced is not a sign of abandonment, but evidence that you are in preparation for something greater than you imagined. Therefore, do not settle, do not hide any longer. The time of being bound to your excuses is over. Rise with courage, because I myself go before you. Your calling will not be frustrated, because what I begin, I complete. Your life is not too small for my purpose, because I am the God who uses the unlikely to transform multitudes. Walk with confidence, because I have already drawn every step of your destiny, and nothing will be able to stop what I have determined for you. I recognize the battles you have faced, the anxiety that suffocates your thoughts and robs your rest, the debts that drain your hope and make you feel bound by invisible chains. The weight of responsibilities that seems to have no end. Every tear that ran down your face was seen by me. Every prayer you made in silence reached my throne. Every time you thought of giving up was recorded in my heart. Nothing in your journey was ignored. What you call loss, I transform into refinement. And what you believe was delay, I turn into a testimony of victory. I know when your body seemed too weak to go on, and when your mind screamed that you could not endure any longer. I was with you at every moment. Do not look at these pains as a sign of failure, but as evidence that you are being shaped for something greater. Gold only becomes pure when it passes through fire, and so your faith is being refined in trials. I waste nothing. Even what seemed unnecessary will become essential for the purpose I established. I did not abandon you in the nights when fear seemed to win. I was at your side when the news brought anguish, when sickness tried to steal your courage, when weariness sought to rob your hope. I am the God who sustains you even when you no longer have the strength to pray. In the moments when your words fell silent, your groans were enough to touch my heart. I never needed speeches. I've always looked for sincerity, and that I found in you. Every obstacle that arose in your path was not able to annul the promise you carry. Even if you stumbled, I lifted you. Even if the enemy tried to stop you, I turned it into momentum. Even if shame tried to silence your voice, I placed within you a song of hope. What you thought would destroy you will be the very thing that strengthens your testimony. For there is no pain that is in vain when placed in my hands. I did not allow you to be crushed by pressures, even though you felt as if life was about to collapse. I guarded you in the midst of storms. I hid you when attacks were launched against you. I preserved you when it seemed there was no way out. Do not underestimate the deliverances you have already experienced. Many of them you did not even notice, but they were what sustained your life until now. You are living proof that my care is constant. Listen, the scars you carry are not signs of defeat, but reminders of battles won. They are not marks of weakness, they are signs of overcoming. They will tell stories of perseverance that will inspire others not to give up. Do not be ashamed of the marks, for in them I reveal the beauty of resilience. The enemy wanted to use them as accusation, but I transformed them into trophies of victory. Do not fear the days ahead, for I am already in them. Do not think you will be consumed by the same difficulties that once hurt you, for now you are stronger. I do not waste pain. I use it as the foundation to build your faith. What yesterday seemed impossible, today will be seen as a step. The tears that watered the ground where you lay prostrate will become seeds that will bloom in abundance. I did not call you to give up halfway, but to reach the destiny I prepared. Every time you resisted the temptation to stop, you gained strength to endure the next step. Every time that, even tired, you chose to trust, your faith expanded beyond what you could perceive. And now I say, nothing was in vain. Absolutely nothing. I specialize in turning what seemed like an end into a beginning, and what seemed like ruin into reconstruction. Lift up your head, for your journey is not marked by defeats, but by overcoming. You are not defined by the falls, but by the rising that I grant you. You are not remembered for the weight you carried, but for the strength you acquired. What seemed like prison will be a testimony of freedom, and what seemed like failure will be proof that I am faithful. Your life is a sign of resilience, and that resilience is the fruit of my constant presence. Today, I declare that you receive a new measure of courage. The fear that once paralyzed you will no longer have dominion over you. The doubt that made you retreat will no longer have authority. I place upon you a spirit of perseverance, a strength that does not wear out, a hope that does not fade. You will walk in the midst of struggles, but you will not be defeated. You will pass through the fire, but you will not be consumed. You will face storms, but you will remain firm, for I myself am your anchor. And when you look back, you will see that every battle was necessary to reveal who you are in me. You will see that every tear served to draw you closer to my heart. You will see that every dark night was an opportunity for me to show my light. And then you will understand that true victory is not the absence of struggle, but the certainty that in all of them I was with you, transforming weakness into strength and despair into hope. I am the one who restores what was stolen, who redeems the time you believed you had lost, and who returns dignity where the enemy tried to leave only ashes. I bring healing to your mind, freeing you from thoughts that imprisoned you in guilt and anxiety. I bring healing to your body, strengthening what was weakened and renewing your strength like that of the eagle. I bring healing to your soul, washing the hidden wounds that still bled in silence. Your past has no power to dictate your future, because I am the God who makes all things new. I have already breathed over the dry areas of your life, and what seemed hopeless is beginning to blossom again. The peace that seemed distant, I bring it back to your heart like a river that never dries up. The joy you thought was impossible returns with greater intensity than before. The confidence that seemed extinguished is rekindled like a flame the wind cannot put out. It is not illusion, it is promise fulfilled. What I give you today is full and abundant restoration. I return to you what was stolen by cruel words, by broken relationships, by opportunities that were lost. I restore to you not only what was taken, but I add even more, because I am not a God of small measure. I multiply the little and make overflow what seemed insufficient. Where there was shame, I clothe with honor. Where there was emptiness, I pour fullness. Where there was discouragement, I plant courage. Do not look back with bitterness, because even what the enemy used to hurt you will become a tool for edification. I redeem the memories that still weighed on you, and I transform them into milestones of overcoming. What once caused pain will now be testimony of victory. What once bound you to the past will now become momentum for the future. I will not allow anything you have lived to be wasted. Even the darkest moments will serve as foundation for the light I will manifest through you. I not only restore what was lost, I also renew what still exists. I breathe upon your gifts, awaken your talents, and strengthen your faith. What seemed asleep begins to awaken. What was hidden begins to shine. What you believed would never again be possible, I have already made reality. I do not only return what you had, I make it better, because my restoration is not simple return, it is transformation. I enter broken relationships and plant forgiveness where there was resentment. I restore homes, reconciling hearts and removing walls that pride had built. I rebuild family bonds and bring back unity where there was once division. I erase the words of rejection that were engraved deep within you and replace them with the certainty of my love. I return to your heart the ability to trust, to begin again, and to love without reservation. I also renew your dreams. Those projects you left aside because you believed it was too late, I place them again before you. Time is no obstacle for me. What seemed forgotten will be revived with even greater strength. I restore boldness to dream beyond what you have dreamed before, because my plans go beyond your limits. What I prepare for you does not fit into human logic, but it requires faith that steps forward even without seeing the ground. I do not call you only to receive restoration, but also to be a channel of it. The renewal I pour upon you will not remain contained, it will flow to others. Your healed scars will be balm for the wounds of others. The hope restored in you will be the announcement that I can also act in many. Your testimony will be a living voice that nothing is irreversible when placed in my hands. I declare that your season of losses has come to an end. Now it is time of restitution, of renewal, and of new beginnings. I pour upon you peace that surpasses understanding, joy that does not depend on circumstances, and confidence that is not shaken by the wind of adversities. Your life will not be remembered for what you lost, but for what was transformed. Your story will not end in ruins, but in fullness. Therefore, make room in your heart. Free yourself from the weight of the past. Let me occupy the places that still held pain. Allow me to plant in you seeds of hope, because I am the one who turns desert into garden and ashes into a crown of beauty. Walk confidently, because restoration has already begun, and nothing will be able to stop what I have decided to renew in your life. Trust in me even when you do not understand the path, because I see far beyond what your eyes can reach. Faith is the key that opens doors your strength could never move. When you believe even without visible proof, you are declaring that I am greater than any circumstance. You do not need to comprehend every detail, only trust that my hand leads you through safe paths. Your reasoning may limit you, but your faith expands you to live the extraordinary that I have prepared. Obey before you see the result, because obedience is the seed of the miracle. Every step taken in trust, even if small, carries within it the power to release provision, healing, and transformation. Do not wait for perfect conditions, because human perfection is not a requirement for me to act. I honor obedience that is born of a sincere heart, willing to follow even without understanding. The supernatural move begins when you renounce control and say with your life, I trust in you. Give the little you have, and you will see multiplication happen before your eyes. I do not need great resources to perform great works. I only need your surrender. What seems insufficient to you in my hands becomes abundance. Remember that I have always used the unlikely to reveal my power. It is not about quantity, it is about trust. The little you place on my altar will become a harvest that overflows. Speak life over the situations that seemed hopeless. Do not allow the silence of fear to dictate the direction of your journey. Use your mouth as an instrument of faith, because your words have the power to align your reality with what I have already determined. Where you once pronounced defeat, begin to proclaim victory. Where you only saw lack, speak abundance. Where fear insisted on silencing you, raise your voice and declare that I am the God who turns impossibilities into testimonies. I am the God who heals, provides, and guides. There is no sickness that can resist the touch of my hand, no need that cannot be supplied by my generosity, no dark path that cannot be illuminated by my presence. When you trust in me, you acknowledge that your help is not in men, but in the Creator of all things. I am your comfort in pain, your direction in doubt, and your strength in weariness. Do not doubt when the time seems long, because waiting is also part of the process of maturing faith. What I promised will not fail, even if it seems to delay. Learn to walk one day at a time, trusting that every step of obedience brings you closer to the fulfillment of my purpose. Faith is not the absence of struggle, but the certainty of my presence in the midst of it. I call you today to step out of stagnation. Leave behind the fears that held you and the failures that defined you. Move forward, trusting that I have already gone before you. Obey even when it makes no sense, because the greatest miracles were born of obedience in moments of uncertainty. When you moved only by logic, your steps were limited. Now, when you walk in faith, you move toward the unlimited that only I can accomplish. Do not settle for observing what others receive, because abundance has also been prepared for you. Your surrender will not be in vain, your obedience will not go unrewarded. I am faithful to honor every act of trust. What you do in secret will be seen in public. What you give me with simplicity will become an inheritance that will mark generations. Therefore, do not yield to the silence of fear. Lift your voice in worship, declare with firmness the victory I have already prepared. Proclaim with boldness that you are not alone. Your act of faith, even if it seems small, moves heaven. I am the one who sustains the universe with my word, and I am also the one who sustains your life with my love. Walk, believe, and obey, because every step taken in faith brings you closer to the fulfillment of what I have already established. Today I open before you paths your eyes could not see, trails that seemed blocked, passages that seemed non-existent. What you considered as insurmountable barriers were only detours I prepared to lead you to destinations greater than you could imagine. I am the God who turns roadblocks into bridges, dead ends into roads of hope. Nothing in your life is happening by chance. Every detail is aligned with my eternal purpose. The doors that remained closed for so long were not rejection, but protection. I did not allow you to enter places that would make you lose what truly matters. Now, at the right time, I myself turn the keys and set before you entrances that no one will be able to close. The future I have designed for your life is full of peace, filled with abundance, and established in purpose. Do not fear what you do not yet know, because I have already walked the path ahead of you. Nothing you are living is a waste. Even the days that seemed useless are preparation for the harvest that is already near. I am the Lord of time, and what seemed like delay is in fact training. Every tear watered invisible seeds that now sprout. Every prayer that seemed forgotten is being answered with abundant provision. The waiting was not in vain, because in it I taught you to trust, and trust is the foundation upon which I will build your victory. Take courage, because now I call you to believe against all logic. What seemed like an end will be a beginning. What was dead will receive the breath of life. What was buried will bloom with even greater strength. I am the God who resurrects the impossible, who turns dryness into a river, who lifts from the dust a new story. Where there were only ashes, I place beauty. Where there was mourning, I pour out joy. Where there was despair, I plant hope. I do not merely start something new, I establish new beginnings that cannot be reversed. You are not returning to the previous point, you are being taken to a higher level. Your life is not in circles of repetition, it is in a spiral of growth. Each turn that seemed the same was actually lifting you one step higher. And now as you look back, you will see that everything has brought you to this moment in which the promise becomes tangible. I set before you horizons wider than your eyes can reach. Your vision was limited, but I expand your perception. What you believe to be small, I enlarge. What you judge to be the end of the road, I transform into the beginning of new journeys. Your story does not end in the desert, it blossoms in the promised land. I lead you beyond mere survival, bringing you into the fullness that only my presence can offer. I am the one who changes seasons. Just as winter cannot stop spring, neither can the difficult season stop the blossoming of the new that I have prepared. I declare over you a time of renewal, in which what was dormant awakens, in which what was paralyzed begins to move, in which what seemed distant draws near. It is not just a new chapter, it is an entire book that begins to be written with lines of hope and victory. The future I have for you is not fragile. It is secure. It does not depend on the surrounding circumstances, but on my power in you. People may doubt, numbers may not add up, scenarios may appear contrary, but my word does not fail. I am the one who upholds the universe, and I am also the one who upholds your life. Therefore walk with confidence, knowing that nothing can frustrate the plans I have drawn. I prepare new connections, healthy relationships, opportunities that reflect my care. I'm aligning people who will cross your path to add and not to steal. I'm removing what does not generate life and bringing what multiplies peace. I'm repositioning your heart so that you can recognize my voice even amid the noise of the world. Rise with boldness, because you are not at the end, you are at the beginning of something greater. Your story will not be remembered for the doors that closed, but for the ones I myself opened. Your future will not be told by the tears you shed, but by the fruits you will reap. Your identity will not be marked by the fears you felt, but by the faith you demonstrated. Today I say to you, advance. The time of waiting has ended. I breathe upon you courage, hope, and direction. I pour upon your life the oil of renewal. I release over you the promise that you will see with your own eyes what you previously could only dream. Walk, because what I have prepared does not compare to what you have already lived. Your life will be proof that I am the God of new beginnings and the promised future. Today is the day of a new beginning. I seal with my voice this word over your life and declare that the provision you lacked, the healing you needed, the reconciliation that seemed impossible, and the hope your heart longed for are already being released upon you. Nothing will remain unfinished, nothing will be interrupted, because when I stretch out my hand, everything is fulfilled in perfection. Receive now this time of renewal, for what once was a burden becomes lightness, and what once was uncertainty becomes clear direction. Surrender yourself completely. Do not hold back any part of your heart. Do not keep reserves before me. Do not postpone the surrender that can change everything at this very moment. I do not ask you for complex speeches or efforts beyond your strength. I only ask you for truth and surrender. When you choose to trust me fully, the chains that held you begin to break, and the freedom I always desired for you begins to manifest. Write your declaration of faith. Pronounce with your lips the confidence that is growing inside of you. What you say in secret will have repercussion in public. The words you choose to release over your life align with my eternal purpose. Use your voice to confirm what I have already released over you. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are heir to promises that cannot be annulled. Pray with simplicity. Do not worry about finding the right words, because I already understand every movement of your heart. Your prayer does not need to be long, it needs to be sincere. The genuine cry, even if it is only a whisper, moves entire heavens in your direction. Do not underestimate the power of an honest conversation with me, for it is in it that I build the greatest answers. Worship without reserves. Do not hold back praise because of wounds. Do not limit your worship because of doubts. Give me your worship in the valley and also on the mountain, in scarcity and also in abundance. When you worship me without reserves, your soul aligns with heaven, and the atmosphere around you changes. Worship is a key of deliverance, a bridge to miracles, a response that transforms your vision. Do not postpone what I can do now. Tomorrow belongs to me, but today's decision opens the door to immediate change. How many times have you waited for signs when my voice was already enough? How many times have you delayed steps that could have opened a new time? I tell you now, do not wait any longer. The opportunity I place before you today is unique, and in it I have already placed provision, direction, and victory. I send upon you the blessing of my presence. Where I am, there are no impossibilities, because my presence is an environment of healing, deliverance, and transformation. When I enter, fear leaves. When I remain, peace grows. When I speak, darkness retreats. Receive this blessing that is not limited to a moment, but that will accompany you in every detail of your journey. Walk today with courage. Do not look back with fear. Do not face the future with dread. I have already prepared your victory, and it will not be partial, but complete. The enemy tried to steal your confidence, but I restore it with double authority. He tried to silence your voice, but I make it echo even stronger. He tried to interrupt your walk, but I lift you up and send you with firm steps. This is the day of sending. I not only console you, I send you with the anointing that breaks yokes. You will not return to the same place you came from, for I place in your hands new responsibilities, new opportunities, and new levels of faith. What once seemed unreachable will now be reality. Walk knowing that you are no longer the same, for my presence transforms your identity and confirms your mission. Go with the certainty that I am with you. Wherever you set your feet, you will see my favor. Wherever you raise your voice, you will feel my backing. Wherever you extend your hands, you will witness my provision. You do not walk alone, you walk in partnership with the God who never fails. Go in peace, for the victory is already yours. Go in faith, for the promise has already been released. Go in courage, for I have already traced your destiny.